Welcome, Internet, to the PixelPlay Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast for gamers by gamers. I am one of your co-hosts, Kaylan, aka Catastrophe, joined as always by my co-host, Adam at CS Radical, and Chris at Jin and Chris. This week, we are answering the age-old question, what is the greatest year in video games? With 2023 being lauded as one of the best years of gaming, we thought we'd look back and see which year was actually the most popular one. Was it 2018, 2001, or as far back as 1987? We have a scientific method on how we're going to be dealing with that we're going to go into this week. But first, gentlemen, I have to ask you, how are you guys doing this week? What have you guys been playing?
Adam, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of shit. My God. I finished 2 games and I'm now like a third the way through another one today. So
yeah, that's why I had to ask, because every time I've like in real life talked to you, it's like there's something else that you're playing. And I'm like, how is Adam stealing my life and getting through his backlog? I don't understand.
You guys are beating games?
Called not having kids and not being married. That's your solution.
Damn it.
Love and procreation.
But yeah, so I finally finished Sea of Stars. That was a fun journey. I still agree with what I said at the top, where I don't think it's better than Chained Echoes, but it's very close. They're almost like, if Chained Echoes is here, Sea of Stars is like right there. It's not far off.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go out there and say that it was like, it's not as, like, both of them, their stories are fine, but nothing special. I think what Chained Echoes just did the most is that it completely made a new battle system that was very engaging to me, whereas Sea of Stars did something that already kind of exists. They did add the lock system, which does add a little bit more engagement, but I felt like Chained Echoes, they had just the slightly more interesting dynamic to it. But like, if I literally put these two together, they win on different things. I think Chained Echoes is a cooler overall theme. I think Sea of Stars just looks fucking way better. It's so goddamn gorgeous. Sea of Stars is also is a lot funnier. Chained Echoes, I think, is the more interesting battle mechanics. Like, it goes either way. I mean, it's almost unfair in some aspects, though, because, I mean, for fuck's sake, Sea of Star has Yasunori Mitsuda, the friggin' guy who wrote goddamn OSTs for fucking Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. It's kind of unfair, but, not everything has to be played out the same way. But I finished that, was super happy with that, and immediately just proceeded by going back and playing its, I guess, sequel, The Messenger, which I know you've played before, Chris, and that game is also fucking tremendous. I actually like it more than Sea of Stars.
Oh,
which
wow.
is, I was surprised by, because you think a game that's actually really, really hard, because Messenger can kick your ass quite a bit, especially towards the later half of the game. But as a game that, you know what it honestly reminded me of? All those Sega Genesis games that I fucking sucked at when I grew up.
Shinobi?
Your Shinobis, your Ninja Gaidens, like all those games. Those were all the stuff that I'm like, I'm terrible at this. Let me try this now. When played The Messenger, and I played The Messenger and went, oh, this is actually not so bad. I can do this. And then I finished it and went, oh my God, I finished one of these games. I'm an adult finally. But yeah, honestly,
put it on the resume.
The Messenger is definitely a much more, I think, fun game to play. Sea of Stars is really, really good, but I think also the nature of it being a JRPG, there's always a lot of downtime, whereas this game is just, it's constant. It's constant, you having to pay attention. And they also, I think, did a good enough job of having enough mechanics that vary things, but don't get too complicated. And they also were simple enough that in the early stages, like, you have more than enough time to get adjusted to the main mechanics of the game, so that by the time it starts getting really advanced, you're more than fine to be able to handle whatever gets thrown at you. It's just a matter of now putting everything together. It's kind of like Celeste in a way, where it gives you enough time to learn each mechanic, and then by the time you get towards the later half of the game, they throw everything all at once at you, and you got to be able to adapt to all of that. There's only one part specifically I got angry about, and it's really much towards the end, and I know, Chris, because you finished that game, right?
Yes.
It's the part where you have to basically run away from a giant monster.
Oh, yeah.
That part was frustrating, because it's in a lot of these games do these sections where you cannot make a mistake, or else you will die. Like, there's just no room for error. And I felt like for the section that they provided, it was too long, and the pixel room for error is so narrow that it's very easy to make a mistake. So it took me like 15, 20 tries. And for a section that's maybe a minute when you actually finish it, it's very frustrating when you know you're this close, but because the pixel of your grappling gun is like 2 pixels slightly higher than the hook that you're like, great, now I got to do this for the 19th time and see if I can get through it again. That was frustrating, but like everything else was fine. I did have to guide to the last half of the game because there's a lot of backtracking, and I did not feel like wasting my time going through from place to place. So I said, screw it. I'm just getting a guide, tell me exactly roughly where to go, and then figure it out from there. Like, it basically would say, go to this place and start from there. I'm like, fine. I didn't literally go like screen to screen. I wasn't watching a YouTube tutorial or anything, but I literally just said, okay, go here. Cool. All right, I'll work from there, and figured it out after that. But I thought that game was really, really good. I was very happy with that. I'm glad that that was also on PlayStation Plus. So that was 2 games that I basically got to have for essentially a monthly subscription. So no complaints there. And then now I'm currently playing my next JRPG. I'm sorry, King. The real JRPG King is about to speak now. I'm playing.
I've given up you didn't take the title. I gave it up.
I feel like this is a challenge.
We'll
I feel
keep
like
saying this
Kaylan's
every
coming
single
back with
time
something.
until we realize that that's not true. But
When
sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can have it back when you play Cyberpunk, coward.
That's not a JRPG though, so no.
It's okay. I took it from you when I took.
You can call
We've crossed
yourself
roads.
the PRPG King. You're the Polish RPG.
Yeah, I was gonna
King,
say
okay?
the Polish. I was about to just make that joke. How did you steal that from my mind?
Because I know you got family that's Polish, so I better take that from you before it's too late.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm playing Star Ocean: The Divine Force right now, and that game it's not amazing. It's basic JRPG, but as a palate cleanser right now, after playing like 2 pretty intense games, especially after The Messenger, I can use some absolute anime bullshit that doesn't require too much attention. I will say, because this was also, again, I'm playing this because it was on PlayStation Extra this month. I had no intention of ever playing this game because the last Star Ocean game they came out with, which was also a stupid name. I think it's Integrity and Unfaithlessness or something like that, or Integrity and Faithlessness, something stupid like that.
That's right up there with Kingdom Hearts naming.
No.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts naming is just numerical. This game was just done with the same sort of instance that Japanese animes do, where they just have way too many letters. But that game, that last Star Ocean game, was notoriously god awful. And I've kind of never really like fully sunk into a Star Ocean game. I'm excited to see the remake of Second Story. That was the old PS2 game or PS1 game. But like Star Ocean has not really hit me since PS2 era. I played The Last Hope on 360. It was fine, but I never finished it. This one, I'm pretty sure that unless something pretty drastic changes, I will finish this one because it's not too challenging. Granted, I'm also playing on easy, but at the same time, it's like I'm knowing how to break this game pretty quickly. What I like about this game a lot is its traversal. It adds this sort of jetpack that allows you to fly up into the air or just burst on the ground in short distances. So it allows like traversing either towns or the overworlds to be either quicker. There's also things you can pick up and treasures that are hidden sort of on cliff edges and stuff. So it gives you a reason to actually walk around the open space and look around, which is a problem that a lot of JRPGs have, where there's just a lot of open space with nothing there. This time around, there is sort of an interest of actually moving around the area to see what's there, in case, you never know if you might find some extra items you might be looking for, or maybe there's a treasure chest with they have a mini game where they give you these little like chess pieces, but they're all made after different Star Ocean characters. So if you're a big Star Ocean fan, you want to try to find as many treasure chests as possible because some of those pieces end up being in them. So there's an incentive to also explore too, because you might find some of your favorite characters as these pieces. So that's a kind of a nice thing. The battle system is basic. It's fine. Like I basically just mash R1 over and over again, and then if I need to hit square to actually attack, then I'll do it. But like everything else is pretty average. It's more of just, it's a nice game that if you're looking to kind of unwind and still play a JRPG, this one doesn't demand too much. Its story isn't overly enthralling. The mechanics aren't too intense. It's pretty basic. Like if it's, like I said, it's a great palate cleanser if you're a JRPG player. But aside from that, I guess we're a week or so into that, and then we'll see what happens, because obviously we're gearing up for a very busy second half of this month.
It's already busy.
Yeah.
It's gonna get busier.
Chris, I'll hold off on mine because I'm dying to hear yours. How's Assassin's Creed?
So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Starfield has been on hold because
Again?
Oh no, again. It's because I'm like, it'll always be there in Game Pass, and it's gonna take forever. So I might
Yeah,
as
you
well
know that's
play
never
the
leaving.
shorter game. Yeah, it's never going anywhere. I mean, I also bought Assassin's Creed, so it wouldn't have gone anywhere either. But I missed the initial hype of Starfield, so I'm like, I want to be a part of this hype. Which I feel like I'm the only one playing this game, though, in all of my group of friends. So I guess there is no real hype. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is fantastic. It
Yeah?
is it there are obviously some points here. This isn't a perfect game. This is not like
Well, it's an
you
Assassin's
need
Creed
to
game.
yeah, you don't need to rush out and get this day one. It's not like blowing anybody's mind where it's like, wow, this whole new experience that I've never seen before in my entire life. All it is that they got rid of all the bullshit that was way too horrible in Valhalla,
Yeah,
but
because isn't this
started
game
even
like
before
way
that.
shorter?
I am 17 hours in, 16 and a half hours in, and I'm on the final mission.
Nice.
And
That's
and
like
it's
amazing.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is like maybe story only. I don't even know if this is like I don't know. Like I don't even know if it's like a big mission and it's like, oh, I have to actually like assassinate someone in the end, or if it's just like a lot of the Assassin's Creed games always had like that final mission where they just close off the story with an emotional moment and
Mhm.
that's your final quest. Like I don't know what kind of final quest this is. It may take me 15 minutes and it's just a little bit of story and emotion and then it's over. Um yeah, the game is a lot smaller.
Mhm.
It feels like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. It's
Oh,
simple.
that's
They
awesome.
don't have a lot of different like they kept upgrading Ezio and everything with like, okay, now he has two blades. Now his hidden blade can also act as a hook and he can like use it to climb up extra walls and
He
stuff
He
like
became
that.
gives him a
Batman.
gun.
He became Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, like he got a gun kind of thing. Like no, it's very simple. You have a hidden blade. You do have a sword and dagger, but it's like just normal combat and they
You had,
really don't want you to use that.
to be fair, you had those in the original Assassin's Creed too. They just wasn't a
Oh,
battle
right.
option.
That's true. Yes.
My
And
important
you-
question
yeah.
though, can you still throw money at people?
No money.
Damn it.
That's not even
There
an
goes
item.
my strategy, because that was always
There's
my
al-
old strategy. Throw money at the ground, watch everybody freak out, and then just slowly just sneak away.
Yeah. There's only 6 tools, a throwing knife, which is like the closest you'll get to a gun in the game. There is a smoke bomb, a noise maker, a trap, a sleep dart. They did keep that, and I know that came in later games, but I love the sleep dart. And I've always like used that to like get rid of somebody. And all of them are upgradable, and you can kind of change them. So the sleep dart, you can use points to or money or no components to upgrade it, and it'll change from a sleep dart to a poison dart to a berserk dart. So you get to kind of customize if you want to upgrade or not, or just leave it. So there is still like some customization and some fun stuff there, but it really is like, listen, you've got your hidden blade, you have a sword if you like really need it, you really don't want to. On the loading screen, which is not very long, but it does show up. There is even like a hint screen that they always have, like, oh, this hint, this hint. One of them is Basim seems like obviously a very strong guy. He's actually not. If you get into a battle with 4 or more people, you'll probably die. That's in the hint screen because it's like, listen, be stealth, assassinate from the shadows, do not just burst in
So you
like
can't
you did in
counter your way out
Valhalla.
of problems.
No, like if you run in, like I'll just fight you, you'll die. Like no matter what, even upgrading your armor, quote unquote, and stuff in this or your outfit, you don't get it where it's like, oh, I'm so invincible, like 4 hits and you're dead. You do have to counter, like somebody will go to counter and they'll like be yellow. If you counter, you get to counter back and kind of instantly kill them. But if they're attacking you and they're red, you can't counter. So if you try and counter, they're just going to hit you and you'll take like 25% of your damage. So you have to dodge that one. So there is still like, if you need to fight, you can. But again, if there's like 5 people and one's coming at you where you want to counter that person, but somebody else is attacking you, you'll block that one other person, but that other person's going to hit you. So it's not like you become invincible just because you're in an animation. It's literally like, I guess, more realistic, you could say. But yeah, so just don't do open combat. Go into Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 with slightly better mechanics. Like I do find The climbing is better, jumping from building to building. Like, you know how in Assassin's Creed, you'd be like, all right, I'm going to jump. And like you completely jump to a different area and landed right in the middle of all the guards. Or it's like, I'm going to descend this wall. And you like start to descend, but then jump to a completely different area. Like the game would just kind of do random crap. Seems to be working better. I still had the odd thing, but it seems to be working better. Yeah, it feels like just the old Assassin's Creed again. There are some things that, of course, people probably wouldn't like. If you really did want that big, giant open world, this is just one city. It's Baghdad, and it's just that city, and then little bit of a wilderness. They call it the wilderness around it, but I mean it's the desert. Maybe some palm trees. So it's not big. You can run from one end of the map to the other in probably 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
You wouldn't want to. I mean, it still is like running in one direct line for 10 minutes, but at no point have I felt like, oh my God, that's so far away. I'll look on the map, and I'm so used to looking at Assassin's Creed maps, and I would see where I am. And then it's like,
zoom out like 10 times.
Yeah. And you can still do that. And I'll do it, and I'll be like, oh, this one collectible I was going to grab on the way is so far away. But then you run for 15 seconds and you're already there, and you're like, oh, never mind. No, the map's smaller. I'm still using, my brain thinks this map is the old map. So like the map itself can look confusing because you can zoom out and you're like, oh, wow, that's a huge city. No, it's really, really not. I would equate this to being a very similar size to like Spider-Man, like that map.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Not an island and thin. Take that and widen it a bit, but like still kind of the same idea. And again, it's not, and like you're not on web slinging and stuff, so obviously they didn't want to make it any smaller than that or anything, because then obviously it'd be way too quick.
But where's Da Vinci to give him like this constantly re-equipping hook shot? What the hell?
Yeah, no hook shot, no anything like that. There are some really cool traversal things. Like now they actually have like this like construction, and it'll have this one really long stick. I don't know what the heck it's for, but you know, in parkour, you'll see it. Somebody grabs a stick, pushes off the one building, holding on to it, and they kind of just swing to the other building while holding on. That is just randomly, for some reason, set up around the city. So while you're running across rooftops, you might grab that. You might grab onto a rope and slide down it. Like they've still got some cool things just to make it look very parkour and very cool. But again, you're really just holding X and running straight. Like it just looks cool. But yeah, I would honestly give this really good score. It doesn't look as pretty as the other games. You can tell it was a lower budget game. Some of the cutscenes,
price was one, isn't it?
Yeah,
it
it's
is
like $50
priced
or
lower.
something.
Yeah, it's definitely lower. Like the graphics, if you were like, oh, I want like to get blown away, because that was the one good thing I would say about the newer Assassin's Creeds. I don't really like them looking back at them, obviously, especially after going back to like this, but they did put a lot of effort and a lot of budget into like a giant statue you can climb and like everything in Greece or and that kind of stuff. This obviously is just like a city in a desert, and some of the cutscenes, they look good. At no point does the game look budget or cheap. It's just if you're like, oh, I want this to look as good as Valhalla or as Odyssey and be so lush and beautiful, it looks, as for anybody watching the video, it looks like this, like the whole game. It's a big city and you're just constantly doing stuff. There's very cool set pieces like the bazaar, which is an all indoor huge market. There's palaces you go into, climb to the top of. If you leave the city, there's palm trees and oasis and stuff like that. Like there is some very cool stuff, but yeah, I honestly am playing this. And I'm very aware. So for anybody who's maybe watching this, like, oh, you know, this guy sold me on this game, said it's the best game. No, this is the best Assassin's Creed game in an incredibly, incredibly long time. Like, I haven't felt this way about Assassin's Creed since like the original trilogy that came out. It just feels like those old games, just with like a new character and stuff like that, right? So if anybody likes Assassin's Creed, like being an actual assassin, assassinating people, like stealthiness, you know, the assassin story, where it's actually like the assassin's lore, not just like you're a random Viking that happens to like know a assassin who shows up for 3 missions. No, like you're actually in the Assassin's Guilds doing contracts, going against the Order of the Ancients or the Templars or whatever, this is the game that you should definitely pick up at some point. Again, it's not groundbreaking in the sense that you would ever need to like buy it day one or anything. If you're somebody who can wait, definitely just wait. It is just an Assassin's Creed game. Nothing new or mind-blowing is going to be here, but the gameplay itself is back to what it used to be, and that's like the best thing about it.
Yeah, it sounds
100%.
like the majority is it's a return to form, not necessarily like, a complete like reimagining or blowing like a new like paradigm shift for the series. It's more like, hey, we're going back to basics. We're going back to what was making the series good in the first place.
100%. Absolutely. And even the collectibles and stuff, I'm enjoying getting them just because there's like, I 100%ed one of the 5 districts without really trying. Because the collectibles are like, all right, there's gear chests and there's like 3 in the area. And then there's these like shards that I don't know what the heck they do, but you have to pickpocket them or murder somebody for them. So you get to kind of do that. And then there's just an animus like ball like glitch in the animus where you can get it, and it's just a codex that gives you actual real life history about the thing you're looking at. So there's that history aspect if you want, and you open it. I've been reading a bunch of them because it's like,
I've heard that there's definitely some great history stuff in there for people that are interested in that.
I've learned some stuff. There was a postal office, and like you have to go into it and stuff, and like I read about it and then open it, and they were like, yeah, this is the real postal office, is what it looked like. A lot of people didn't know that the postal system was already happening back then and all that. Like really, really cool stuff that you actually learn. So I actually like grabbing those because I'm like, oh, cool. What little bit of history am I going to learn? But yeah, so like each of the collectibles kind of has a purpose too. It's not like the old Assassin's Creed where it's like, get all the feathers because we told you to. Like there's actually a reason you'd want to get these, either history, a gear chest, which gives you a new piece of gear, or the ability to upgrade a piece of gear you already have. Or of course, like the fast travel points, which are the view, whatever they are.
Ubisoft is never getting rid of towers, we know.
No, the towers are there. They're not overwhelming. I think there's like 12 or 13 in the whole game.
So it really
and they're
is
not
like
that
the old
far
games.
from each other.
Yeah.
And they're not that far too. Like I ran to one, did it, jumped off, and I was like, all right, well, how far is the other one? I'm like, oh, it's like 150 meters, which in the game is run straight, for, I don't know, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, not even. So I was just running from one to the other. And again, it opens up fast travel. And I was like, cool. So next time I have a mission in this area, I don't have to figure out where it is. I'll just fast travel. And I'm like right where the next mission probably is. So a lot of fun. I've been loving the assassination, going into like a big place with so many guys. And it's like, how am I going to sneak in and find this one person to assassinate? I am loving just like the puzzle aspect of figuring it all out and like stealthing my way, murdering people from the shadows, hiding bodies, and
about,
getting
not
there.
having to do a lot of combat and go straight for stealth. That's exactly how I played. So
I'm so excited.
That has my attention.
You're selling me on this.
Yeah, if you run into one place, just like I'm just going to run in and try and kill people, you will die. There are cool ways to distract a lot of the guards. You can hire mercenaries, and then they will run in and start attacking, so you can kind of run in the confusion. And if you fight alongside them, then it's okay because like they're not all just focused on you. You can hire a bard or a musician to play, and the guards come and kind of start listening to the music, and you can sneak past them. There's merchants that you can bribe where they had to do a delivery, and you kind of are their person that carries like some supplies right behind them. So you actually walk right into the enemy's place, but you're disguised as a merchant. For a bit of it. Like there's so many different ways also to infiltrate. One place I went into, I had like 7 different options of how I wanted to go in. And I actually activated like 3 of them to see what would happen. And it just helped me that much more because now I've got like a musician distracting people as well as some rebels are attacking from the other side of the wall. And also I walked in as a merchant. So while everybody's distracted on all ends, I just like walked in for a while. So it's really cool with the amount of customization of your play style you really can do in a sneaky way, not a go in just sword blazing. So nice. I highly suggest anybody pick this up, even if you just wait for a sale. It's an Assassin's Creed lover's dream because it's a return to fashion, 100%.
That's awesome. I'm very excited to play it. I don't have as much in-depth like feedback to give you guys. I'm basically still playing Starfield. I'm a pirate now, so I'm now a space pirate going around being piratey.
Oh,
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. A slight minor spoilers for the game, but like I was playing it this week, and this is how little I've done of the game. Like I think 24 hours into the game, and they're like, "Holy crap! You get powers in this game." Like I've been playing it as just a normal person, just
It's
with a
Space
gun shooting.
Skyrim.
Like yeah, it's like you get powers, and I'm not going to go into it, but like yeah, you get space powers, and I've been playing this whole game without them just because I'm like, this is awesome. I'm not
I
paying
honestly
attention at
never
all to the
used them.
story.
I maybe had somewhere in the double digits worth of them, and I never used it because I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a rifle. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm just going around I'm basically playing the Expanse, and I love it.
I still got to play the
Oh.
Telltale game too. I
Yeah.
keep waiting for to get around to that too. God damn. See, you're right. It is busy.
I've been still playing Tears of the Kingdom. The game's fine. I'm playing it when I am upstairs with my son. He's on TV, and I'm playing Zelda. It's fine. It's better than Breath of the Wild, but like it's repetitive. Like I'm finishing up the water temple, and I'm like,
oh, that's the one spot of that game and I loved it. That water temple was a part where I was like, why does Zelda always feel like a slog? Like at the water temple, like it's tough
You
to
mean
get
Link?
through it. No, I mean like why does Zelda games always
I
have
thought it was like
a water temple?
I think
You're
it's
gonna get kicked
intentional
off
at
the
this
podcast.
point.
Ah. Yeah. No. I meant the game, not him. Oh gosh. I wouldn't even be allowed on this podcast.
You'd be
if I
kicked
made
off the
that mistake.
podcast.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah, so I mean it's fine. Like it's definitely better. I'm not saying it's a bad game by all stretch, but it's just like it's getting repetitive. I don't care at all about the story. Like the story has the same beats. Like you're going from like one place to the other. You meet like I can tell you like I have to go to one more temple, and I know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna meet somebody. There's gonna be some local problem that's going on. We're gonna have to solve this problem that's going to lead us to a temple. Zelda's going to be there, and she's going to be talking to them, and they're going to hear a voice. Link's not going to explain that this has happened 3 other times. He's just going to be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. You're hearing voices? Yeah, it's probably you. And then you're going to fight, like you're going to go through the temple. They're going to be like, oh my God, it's my ancestor. Here, I have to fight with you. And they're going to explain the same thing that's been happening the last 3 times. Like, it's very repetitive. Like, there's nothing new. There's nothing exciting. Like, I'm not picking up, like, this is one of the things that's bugging me is like you pick up what weapons are available to you. And so like I've got a bunch of 2-handed sword weapons, which is fine, but I really like playing single-handed swords, but I haven't come across any lately. So I'm now carrying 2-handed swords, and it's fine. It's passing the time, but it's not like, oh my goodness, this is it. Once again, the hype's just not there for me. So
Well, it's like what I said too, right? Like it's just one of those things where it feels like if you don't like the mechanics that game has, it's really hard to get behind it, which is why Breath of the Wild for me just didn't click, and why I have zero interest to try Tears of the Kingdom. It just doesn't make any sense to me to do so.
Well, I'm liking the mechanics of the game. Like I find the powers are much better. Like I'm enjoying that. Like I find it's a better game, but it feels like and it's weird to say it, like story-wise, it is an inch deep and a mile wide. Gameplay, like there's a whole bunch of different ways of doing things, but I'm still going through the same beats. It feels like Groundhog Day. And I can change how I'm going through Groundhog Day, but at the end, I'm still getting to point B, going back to point A, and I just repeat the whole time. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'll probably keep going. I'm not burnt out yet, but it's not thrilling me. And then still playing Paradise Arcade. That game is just, I don't know what it is about it. Like I'm just sinking my teeth into my laundromat arcade. I love it. And the wife and I are still burning our way through Baldur's Gate very slowly. That game is so convoluted and so not welcoming in terms of like, hey, want to do stuff? And they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. They're like, well, figure it out because I'm not teaching you. So yeah, it's very unintuitive.
There's going to come a day where I play it and I'm so worried that within like 2 hours I'm going to be like, I hate this.
Adam, if you have not played D&D, I don't think you're going to like this game. Like it is D&D through and through. And I think the fact that Jed and I play D&D has been a huge help for us in terms of knowing what's going on, what's being used. But I think if I was coming in and having never played or understand D&D, I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Either that, or
Yeah.
maybe I'll find some poor sap to help push me through it. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
I do plan on picking it up one day.
I'm
One
not.
day.
This is not to say it's bad. Like, it may not click. I'm still very early into the game too, so like, it may click later. But like, once again, just like Tears of the Kingdom, I don't get the hype yet. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I thought this week we could kind of jump into the topic for the show. As mentioned at the beginning, now like half an hour later, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We were talking about going through and doing what was the best game of the year or best year of gaming. And so what we've done is we have got, is it 8 different years that we've selected? And how we're going to do this, we're going to do it scientifically, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do is we have a total of 8 rounds. Within each round, there are, no, 8. We have
5
8
rounds.
games, 5 rounds, 8 games. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go each round. We're going to put one game from each year into it. We are going to rank it from 1 to 8, with 1 being the best, 8 being the worst. And then each standing is going to have points. So number 1 is worth 1 point. Rank 8 is worth 8 points. And just like golf, you want the lowest score. Adam has been diligently building this awesome little screen for us to use. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably watching it in the optimum place. If you're on audio, we're going to try and describe it as much as possible, but this might be an episode you want to hop on the video for. So Adam, without further ado, can you put on the screen?
Yeah, so we're going to start from, and again, this is arbitrary. Like, look, I'm sure some people are going to be like, you put this as the number 5 in these years. Look, it might actually help your favorite year in some ways, so you never know. And I tried, when I did this list, I tried to do it with a mixture of what was like critical like scores and stuff, but also like what I think actually in the later years is really meant to gaming over time. So there's
We gave everyone the best. We gave everyone their best.
I
foot
tried to
forward.
have a good balance, right? So
Yeah.
you know, so some people may disagree with what ends up being on the list, but hey, it is what it is. You said scientific, we're in quotation scientific. We did our best.
No,
here.
it's full. It's 2023 science. That's how it works.
This is totally science. I read it on Facebook. It's fine.
So
yeah.
how we're gonna do this is we've got 8 games on the list from all the years, and we chose these years. We've chosen each, the 3 of us, and kind of think that these are the best years that we have to present. There are other ones. If it's not there, suck it up, make your own podcast, and do your own.
We each like voted on like 5 years that we thought would be the best ones, and then any of the ones that made the cut, which ended up being 8. So we actually were pretty well in agreement for the most part.
So how we're going to run this system is we're going to take turns going through, and each one of us will get a chance to kind of make a list ranking 1st to 8th. We're going to let one person make the list, and then the other 2 will kind of interject, and we can kind of have some debates on where we rank them, and then make any changes that we need to, tally up that score for that round, and go from there. Yeah, so Adam, with this being your creation, do you want to take the first round?
Yeah, sure thing. So for those listening on audio, because you can't see everything, honestly, so we picked 8 years in total. We did 1987, 1991, 1994, 1998, 2001, 2007, 2009, and 2018. So this is right now our number 5 round. So this is what we thought were the 5th place games in all of these years. So we have, in order of those years that I gave, in 87, Contra, and 91, Turtles in Time. I know some people will see the SNES cover and be like, well, that was 92. Yes, but the arcade version was released in 91. That came first. That counts. 1994, also there was just no good box art for the arcade version because it's an arcade version. So tough luck, you're getting the Super Nintendo one. Also, look how good that cover is.
So good.
It's beautiful.
1994 was Earthbound. 1998 was Half-Life. 2001 was Super Smash Bros. Melee. 2007 was God of War 2. 2009 was the original Borderlands. And 2018, if I'm not mistaken, the lone indie game on this list, granted, 2018 is the only post-2010 year, so that kind of makes sense, I guess, was Celeste. I know when we did our list for each year, I know Undertale was one. I'm trying to think what there were only 3 games that were put in the indie. I think Stardew Valley was the other one. So like there was some indie representation, but again, AAA kind of does get the bigger advantage for the most part. If we were doing the last 5 years, that might be a little bit different, but considering most of these years take place pre-2010, there's going to be a lot of AAA games in here.
All right.
And a lot of the
go ahead, Chris. No, I was going to get the list going.
I was just going to say, and the issue here is that a lot of the indie games are what they are today because they take inspiration from most of the games off these older
Very
years,
true.
right? So without those older years, there wouldn't be those indie games. So
Maybe one,
So with
maybe
that
one
being
day
said,
we'll have to do an
Adam-
indie list, but hey, that's another podcast.
With that being said, Adam, let's go through your list. Can you give me what is your number 8? We're gonna go 8 to 1.
All right, well, you're probably going to vote against this, but because I actually don't like the original trilogy, God of War goes 8th.
Okay.
Between all of these now, I would probably no, I'll put Contra at 7th. It's tough. Then I'll put Half-Life at 6th. Earthbound would go in 5th. I really, really like Celeste. I don't think I can. No, that's going to be top 3. So Borderlands will go 4th. So we got Turtles in Time, Melee, and Celeste. Ooh, that's tough. You know what? I'm going to put Melee 3rd, and I'll put Celeste at 2nd. Because Turtles in Time is it's just too damn good. I can't possibly not put that anywhere but first. But obviously you guys can vote between that. Like I said, I fully expect God of War to get pumped up a couple of spots because I know a lot of people like the original trilogy. I cannot stand it.
I will jump in to defend God of War as the Sony pony here. God of War 2 needs to go higher.
I know.
Considering like what that game was, has it aged perfectly? No, there's better versions in God of War. I'm not going to say it's number 1, but I would put it probably at least number 4. I think TMNT stays at number 1. I would bump Celeste down, and I would bring God of War up.
yeah.
And that's about where I'm at there.
So right now I'm pushing these two. So Chris, where are you at with what we got?
Oh, it's tough. So I would probably leave it as is, putting like Smash Brothers up to 2. Borderlands doesn't feel right at 3rd.
I'd put TMNT, I'd put Smash Bros, and then I'd put God of War.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would just bump up Smash Brothers and throw God of War in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're voting majority, I can't really argue with that.
As for where Celeste is, I've got no real skin in the game for anything from 4th to 8th. I don't care.
I would probably just put it into 6th and then bump Half-Life and Contra down.
I don't have a problem with that. I know there's going to be some people to be like, Half-Life is 7th out of all of this. Yes.
Apparently. Remember, it's science, guys.
It's science, yeah. This is 3 people's opinions, which are based on science.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with
I guess like
Half-Life.
the only thing is between Earthbound and Celeste really at this point. Do you have any guesses either way there, Chris? Because I know Kaylan hasn't played either of these.
How dare you?
I would probably. I mean, honestly,
he's right.
like,
But how dare you?
Well, I mean, look, you already said no to Celeste, and then look, Earthbound is a very niche JRPG. There is no goddamn way you've played it.
That's what I'm thinking about Earthbound. Like, it's a good game, really good game, but I don't know. Like, it spawned a couple of indie games and stuff like that, but it's not like it was the first JRPG or it like is the lasting one. So I almost feel like Celeste.
I tell you what, here's how I'm actually
bump
going to
it.
leave it as is. So because of Earthbound, Undertale exists, and when we did our list for each year, Undertale was above Celeste. Sorry, Celeste, you lose to Earthbound. By proxy.
There we go. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And the Half-Life one is difficult because, like, the Half-Life.
If it was Half-Life
franchise
2, that'd be so much
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, that's so much different.
That's the
Now,
thing.
there is something to be said for games, because like this is something that's going to come up with like for me with some of the games, is that this did create kind of like it created a pretty notable franchise. Like there is something to be said for creating franchises as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. That's why.
Yeah,
I do
it's
find it
like
tough,
the balance, right? Because we're trying to go between like, okay, good game versus what it meant. Like again, some people will be like Borderlands and Half-Life are like on completely different tiers. It's like, yeah, Borderlands is a really good game, the first one specifically. And then Half-Life 1 is good, but like it's not high level tier until its sequel comes in.
Half-Life walked so Half-Life 2 could run.
Yeah.
Yes, very much. So yeah,
Also,
I like
how much did it blow your mind when you were able to play Turtles in Time and you could play Donatello and you could throw like Foot Clan people into the screen? Like,
Oh, yeah.
man.
how much
It
that
took
was
me
so
so
cool.
long to realize that's what the one boss battle was supposed to be. Because I'm
Yeah,
like,
we were fighting
I'm
Shredder?
Like, why am I not winning this level? They keep spawning. And then finally I threw one into the TV and saw the glass crack. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was a mind-blowing moment for sure. 2D game becomes 3D-ish.
So are we all in
Alright,
agreement
so
here on this then?
Yeah, we got the score. I've got the points tallied up, so we're all
You've
good
already got
there.
it tallied up then? Perfect.
Yep, we're all good.
All right, moving on to fourth. So, for those again on audio, 87, we have the original Metal Gear. 91, we have Street Fighter 2, not to be confused with the other like 7 versions of Street Fighter 2 back in the day. 1994, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 1998, Resident Evil 2, 2001, the original Halo, 2007, BioShock, 2009, Assassin's Creed 2, hey, there's a callback to what we were just talking about earlier, and 2018, Monster Hunter World. I'd say let's just go with Chris, because Chris is underneath me here, so we'll go with that order.
All right, so thank you for giving me one of the toughest years immediately.
Well, you saying they're all good year? Are you saying any of them are going to be easier? Come on now. We're at number 4. It's going to get harder.
No, it's hard for him because he doesn't have one of our opinions to bounce
off.
Also,
Chris, keep in mind, you're getting the number 1 round.
Yeah, that's true. Like Sonic here, like I don't know if anybody can see in the video, I have like a Sonic shrine right behind me.
All right, so we're immediately putting that at number 1 just from that watch.
That's number 1. Like, no, I'm not even kidding. You can just throw that there right now.
Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic definitely is number 1. All right, so I'm supposed to go though from number 8 and work my way up, right?
If you're trying to decide in any other way, just tell me what you're doing.
It's for suspense, guys. We got to go with 8.
Yeah, we got to go with 8. So 8 for me, and again, this is going to be kind of a biased thing because I've never played one yet. Number 8 is going to be Monster Hunter for me because I'm looking at these
One of these days, I'm
going
to play that with you. We keep saying we're going to do it, and we haven't done it.
Yeah, we need to. We need to. For number 7, I think I'm going to do BioShock because while it is a big franchise and that game was phenomenal, it's kind of died off, unlike the lasting power that a lot of these other games have had, like Sonic Forces. All right, so number 6, I'm going to go with Metal Gear because it's the original. For number 5, Assassin's Creed. Number 4, I'm going to put Street Fighter, which I may change. Number 3, Halo. Number 2, Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
2 to 4 is tough. That I'm very open to suggestions for moving that around because those are powerhouses of franchises and even just those games individually when they came out, and even just the lasting power of going back and playing them now. Like, yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Like Adam, at this point, if I'm looking at what we have here, the only things I would do personally would be flip Metal Gear and BioShock and flip Resident Evil 2 and Halo. That would be my only 2 changes, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
We're keeping Sonic at number 1?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
No.
He hasn't played Sonic Forces, and it shows.
How dare you, sir? You're right, but how dare you?
I mean, personally, I think Sonic is its best versions, or Sonic 3 is its best version, so.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I mean, I look at some of these games up here, and I think Halo needs to go higher.
Well, that's why I put it above Resident Evil 2. I do think because Halo also means a lot.
I would almost put Halo as number 1. I think Halo kind of redefined first-person shooters, launched a awesome franchise, and also just it changed the FPS genre and the multiplayer, and graphically, it was an impressive game when it came out in 2001. So that would be my argument for it being number 1. Assassin's Creed, as much as I'd like it to be higher, I think it's in an okay spot. I'm willing to accept that. I can't
justify putting it above any
totally
of those,
fine.
Any of those 4.
I'm not like that. Yeah. It would be higher for me, but that's Assassin's Creed 2 is peak.
Do you have any opinion on my other one, which is Metal Gear versus BioShock?
I think BioShock needs to get bumped up as well.
Yeah, so we got
I think BioShock
on that.
Yeah,
which again, that's not like a huge change, but
no, actually, I'm actually in agreement with that too. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, switch those 2.
I almost wonder if it needs to go higher than Assassin's Creed.
That's the tough one because here's the thing, I think Assassin's Creed 2 is its best game in that series, and BioShock is the best one in that series. So it's which of the 2 are you valuing? Because it's really tough because both of those games, they really meant something to me, and that's prime college gaming right there. Or actually, that would.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's college.
Yeah.
BioShock was one of the first games I played when I actually built my PC. It's
Because like if
tough.
we're doing the best, like years by the intros of the game, oh god, BioShock goes up here. Like that's how high that is. But
let's break this down. I got a way to do it. So we'll do it like in a couple different categories. So graphically, which one do you think is more impressive?
BioShock.
Agreed. All right, which one has better gameplay?
Assassin's Creed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Better story.
Oh, that's tough because they
BioShock.
actually didn't. Yeah, like
I'd say
both...
BioShock.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
like that twist at the end, like
yeah,
so good.
If we're going that, I think for like impact, I think it's slightly edges.
And then innovation, I would put toward like BioShock basically started a franchise. Assassin's Creed kind of just took what the first one did and made
I can
it better.
deal with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep pitching this. So does it beat Street Fighter?
No. Because that
BioShock?
literally
No,
started one of the biggest gaming franchises of all time.
All right. Well, I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, I can't put it out of Street Fighter.
Just to confirm, we're all still going for Sonic being number one. Can't change anyone there.
I am okay if we did switch Sonic and Halo. Like if Sonic ended up in second, Halo's number one. I can see the argument there 100%. I think Sonic still deserves.
I'd say Halo's number one.
And I'm being like, because I love both games, I'm being completely unobjective. If you told me I could only play one of these games for the rest of my life, it's Sonic 3, and I'm not even thinking twice about it.
But I mean, like, all right, I'll give you this one, but you owe me one.
The issue
I don't agree with it, but I'll let you have it. But like,
look, you're being outvoted. You got to deal with it.
No, I'm not, because Chris actually said he would put Halo as number one too.
I'm not saying I would. I said I'm open to the idea, and I can
open to it.
Okay.
So so in typical Chris faction, he's sitting on the fence.
This is the list I made. Also, it's pretty obvious that Master Chief doesn't go fast. He just goes quick.
Yeah, he doesn't go fast until Infinite when he gets his hook shot.
Yeah. And
he needs a vehicle to go fast, Kaylan. I'm sorry, you lose.
Yeah. Sonic can just go fast. There's a loop-de-loop. He's like, I got this, guys. And he just runs around it. Master Chief would be like, where's my hook shot? I haven't got it yet.
Halo clearly copied Sonic. I mean, Sonic already had a character that was going to have guns. I don't care that Shadow came after. It doesn't matter.
Sonic reinvented the first-person shooter.
You guys did not spend as much time playing like Blood Gulch as I did.
Dude, no. I played way too much time in Halo. Again, this is not coming from someone who doesn't like Halo. This is painful that Halo isn't first, but I can't.
All right, well,
if there was Chaos Emeralds, maybe then he'd become Supermaster.
Let's just,
you can shit on whatever happens here in the next slide, okay?
Forget this. Go to the next one. I'll make the right list.
All right, you got the scores down?
I do.
Perfect. All right, so for our number 3 now, we have Super Mario 2 in 87. 91 is Final Fantasy 4. He's going to shit on so many
you guys gave me the worst list to go.
I know, and that's what makes it funny. 1994 is Super Metroid. 1998 is Pokemon Red or Blue. 2001 is Final Fantasy X. Love you, Kaylan. 2007 is Mass Effect, 2009 is Dragon Age Origins, and 2018 is Spider-Man. Do you want me to take this for you?
Yeah, you take this one. I'm not going to get you.
Here, let me just quickly show you two. Are you going to hate this one less? I think you're going to hate this one less.
I can deal with that one less. Because I was literally going to put
I'll take over third for you.
No,
I was going to go Spider-Man. I was going to go Spider-Man.
Take revenge on Sonic.
I was going to go Spider-Man, Pokemon, and then pass.
All right, I'll take over for you. So, right off the bat, Pokemon, that literally is one of the biggest games of all time. Like, actually, numerically, is one of the biggest games of all time.
Yes, 100%.
After that, that's where things can get a little bit funky. Because I'm trying to be objective here, because otherwise, 10 would just go further up, but I have to be very, very smart about this. Yeah, I gotta put Super Metroid at second. I gotta be honest there. After that, yeah, I'll put Final Fantasy IV in third. Spider-Man would go fourth. let's just get it right out of the way. It's not actually a Super Mario game. I don't care. It doesn't count. It goes last place. Dragon Age goes in 7th, and then that leaves me, 10 in Mass Effect? 10's a better game than Mass Effect, even though Mass Effect started the series. As a guy who's played all 3 games, Mass Effect gets better in Mass Effect 2, which I wish that game could be part of one of the years that we did, but that year was actually kind of weak, so it's not going to be there. That was the only Mass Effect in there, but that's what I'm doing. So, sorry for because I didn't really say the order for everybody. From bottom up, it's Super Mario 2, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Final Fantasy X, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy IV, Super Metroid, and then Pokemon Red Blue.
I think the only change...
I'll go first because I have fewer stakes in this. The only ones that I would change, I mean, I don't know anything about Final Fantasy here, but I would keep Spider-Man where it is. I think Pokemon's good, Metroid's good. I feel like Mass Effect should get bumped up from 6th to 5th. I think Final Fantasy X needs to get bumped down. Once again, just getting that bump of being an innovative game, the RPGing of that. Like, I think Final Fantasy X, I'm assuming that's 10. I think it had like a comeback. It's got a renaissance, but it was not as loved as the first Mass Effect was when it came out.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm okay with that. My only argument at the time that I made the list when I picked these out was just Mass Effect 1 has such a massive weight or anchor that's holding it down, which is the vehicle sections.
I like the Mako.
You might be like one of like 100 people that did.
It beat just like going around probing planets. That was boring as hell.
Yeah, but at least it was quick. What were you going to do in the Mako? Drive up a mountain for 5 minutes only to find out there's nothing there?
Anyways. Also, Mass Effect 2 got bored as hell just doing everyone's backstory. Mass Effect is at least like direct enough with its story.
Okay, yeah, I can't take your Mass Effect take seriously anymore now.
You have to respect me as a co-host. Chris, where do you fall on this?
So I actually agree with Kaylan with Final Fantasy X and Mass Effect.
Fine.
Which is so hard for me because I'm like a Final Fantasy guy. And I only played Mass Effect like not even that long ago. Like I didn't even play it when it came out.
Yeah, you're playing the better version too. That's not fair.
A man of culture and taste, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just Final Fantasy X as it was coming out was like a franchise that had already been going for so long. It did make some changes, like it went into the PS2 era and stuff, but it's not as beloved as like creating like a phenomenon like that Mass Effect did. That's my idea. And if there wasn't Final Fantasy IV there that already is there to be like, listen, this is when this series like really showed how fucking good it can be. That's why I think 10 goes down. And I would switch Super Mario Brothers 2 and Dragon Age. However, I will admit I have never played Dragon Age. So that's why.
Can I make one last case, even though we're not switching the order for anything now? Why Mass Effect
should be
below Final Fantasy?
You can do what you want.
Mass Effect 1 should automatically be actually disqualified because Tali is not a romance option in the first game.
Noted. Continue. We'll put that on the record, but yeah, we'll move on.
All right, you got
let the record show. Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, fine. Here's your actual slide now, Mr. Didn't want to pick JRPGs. It wasn't even intentional. I laughed my ass off as soon as I realized what this list was for the number 3. That was perfect. I wish we should have made him do it, Chris. I don't know why I was being nice to him. Wait, no, never mind. He said I owe him one. I owed him one. There we go.
Kaylan's about to shit on Sonic. No.
It's only the first one.
So we've got in this list, we got Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong Country, Metal Gear Solid 2, Portal, Batman Arkham Asylum, and God of War.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 in the same list.
Yeah, when I did the list for the years, I'm like, wow, I'm literally going to throw Metal Gear 1 and 2 against each other. That's fantastic.
I'm glad I don't have this one.
I'm going to go number 8, Mega Man. Number 7, I'm going to go with Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, this is going to be weird because I have not played it, but from what I know about it, I'm going to put Metal Gear Solid 2 as number 6. I am going to put Arkham Asylum as number 5.
That's another thing too, like, there were a couple of games that I'm like, this sucks that we don't get to use them because like Arkham City to me is so much better and it's doesn't even get to count in this year because the year just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I'm gonna put number 4, Metal Gear Solid. Number 3, I'm gonna give to Portal. Number 2, I'm gonna give to God of War. And number 1 is Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, well, in an absolute shocker, I have literally no arguments for this.
What? With the only one I have an argument with is, and it's not Sonic, it's Mega Man being last. I'm surprised.
Honestly, yeah, I can't make an argument for that being anywhere higher because if this was Mega Man 2, we'd have a different
Yeah.
game.
Okay. I see where we're going. We're going very specifically with the first one. Yeah. Okay.
And
okay.
The only thing I could honestly make a case for is Sonic being above Metal Gear 2, only because Metal Gear 2 is very divisive with people because of Raiden. But
Yeah,
even
and that
then,
was
I'm
my
like,
thought.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is like a legend to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm 6th or 7th between Sonic and Metal Gear. I know I hear more people talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 than the original Sonic the Hedgehog.
And that's why too. If this was Sonic 2 Metal Gear 2, Sonic 2 is winning without question.
Agreed.
Oh, Sonic 2 is way higher. And
Sonic
Mega
2
Man
I
2
actually probably would even put up in 5th. I don't think I'd still put it above Metal Gear Solid, but I would put it 5th at that point if it was Sonic 2. But if it's 1, because 1 is really, really good, but it's still like the stepping, or not the stepping stone, like the groundwork to what ended up being like an amazing 4-game run before they started screwing it up.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm so sorry, Mega Man and Sonic. Yeah, leave it the way it is.
Yeah. Kaylan got to pick a list, and he was actually correct. The one time me and Kaylan were agreeing on anything.
Told ya.
Now
I was worried. I thought you were going to put God of War first and be like, don't put Donkey Kong Country under God of War, Kaylan, for fuck's sake.
So my thought with this is that they both do the same thing, right? So Donkey Kong Country and God of War both look amazing. They both reinvent the IP, right? Like Donkey Kong went from just being chucking barrels off a skyscraper to, being a side-scrolling adventure. God of War went from just being pretty much the fantasy of every 14-year-old boy to being a dad, right? So they both do the same thing. I think it's just more like Donkey Kong Country, and those could go 1 or 2, and I just feel like Donkey Kong Country, I'm giving that the nudge because I don't know, it feels like probably a bigger accomplishment that they did that versus God of War.
Well, I mean, my argument would be also Donkey Kong Country is like a top 10 game of all time. So,
except the fucking cart level. That level sucks as much as anything else.
I was about to say, am I the only one that seems to like that level? Because so many people I know fucking hate it, but that's also because they're bad at it. That's the problem. Is y'all suck at it. That's the problem.
Yeah, you just suck. You just got to practice. Get good.
I mean,
me and my brother-in-law are playing through that.
My girlfriend literally hands me the controller whenever she gets to that level. So
that level sucks so much. You know what? That changed it. Put it back to number 2. It gets demoted because of the cart level.
No, forget it. You do not get to move it. No, it's definitely number 1, 100%.
Okay. Then yeah.
Especially since for 1994 and the way it even still looks now when you look at it.
SNES games have aged beautifully regardless, but for a game that is also very has a bit of a 3DS hit to it, it's amazing that that's also transcended well, because other games like Star Fox haven't, but Donkey Kong Country doesn't feel like it's aged.
You can tell me that game came out this year.
It's such a unique style.
Yeah.
It's never really been done again.
You could put that game and say it came out in 2023 as an indie developed game, and I would totally buy it.
Absolutely.
I would say, yeah.
If Nintendo decided to release a Donkey Kong Country 4 in this classic style for $20-$30, I'd buy it. Not even question. Not no question would buy it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I got to even throw this out there. No matter what, Donkey Kong Country would have been on the list and my number 1 just from the soundtrack alone. It still beats all these other games, even if I'm just basing it on the music.
I don't know, but Portal has This Is a Triumph.
Yeah, but aquatic ambiance or whatever it's called, the underwater level.
No.
Donkey
The
Kong
aquatic
Country?
ambiance is a lie, Chris.
It's not. No, that's cake. That's different. Cake's bad for you. Underwater is, well, actually, that's drowning. So I guess it's all bad for you. Games are bad for you. Kids don't play them.
Look, if you could drown in cake, that's a good way to go.
Underwater cake?
No, that's a bad way to go.
That's a bad way. That's horrible.
No, I just said drowning in cake.
Oh, so eat the cake then. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
All right, round
Alrighty,
5.
well-
Let's see what the last one is.
Finally, what we put on these lists as the best games in their respective years. So, Chris, have fun with this. Final Fantasy.
Oh, I want to take this one.
Zelda: Link to the Past, Final Fantasy VI, Zelda: Ocarina of Time, GTA 3, Super Mario Galaxy, Uncharted 2, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Good luck, Chris.
Holy shit.
I mean,
Kaylan,
I
you
can
said you
almost
wanted
tell that
this
that's
one?
going to be 8th.
I'll
just
take this
because
one.
of-
I'll take this one.
No,
Unless you want to take it, Chris.
No, you just did one. No.
And it was perfect.
We should have changed something because now he's going to think every time he makes a list, it's perfect.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit at 10 out of 10.
That's
batting
why I'm not
300.
giving you that list. You should quit now and retire while you won. You got a perfect record.
Perf-
You're not the New England Patriots. You won at the end.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
All right, Final Fantasy 1, definitely 8th.
That was the only one that I'm like, okay, I can figure this one out. After that, that's hard.
This hurts everything inside. Why are there 2 Zeldas? Why? It's like
And
there's
ironically,
Because it's fun.
And ironically, they're the same game too.
Yeah, here's what Chris's dilemma is. It's 2 Zelda games, Uncharted 2, which I know he also loves, a Mario game,
beautiful.
his literal favorite Final Fantasy, I think.
Yeah, my Final
Okay,
Fantasy.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's number
GTA
6.
3,
Oh yeah.
arguably one of the most influential games in the last 25 years. And Red Dead Redemption
30.
2, which is just like legitimately one of the best open world games in its time, period.
Yeah. Okay, God, this is hard. I hate to do this. Number 7. I'm sorry to all these games because all of these are like almost
No,
number
you're not.
1.
No, you're
But
not.
Well, you really
Red
shouldn't
Dead,
be sorry. We're all saying that these games are the best in their respective years. We're already like, they already should be thanking us.
These are the
Yeah.
worst of the best.
These are the worst of the best. Red Dead, I'm putting in 7th.
Yeah.
Oh, Mario. It's not my favorite Mario, but it's a good one. But I like the other things better. Okay, 6th is Mario Galaxy.
I love how he's agonizing. This is the best part.
internal pain I'm feeling right now is intense. I'm gonna Uncharted number 5. Oh, I don't even agree with my own list. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Don't worry, neither do I.
No, wait, sorry. Ocarina number 4. Grand Theft Auto number 3. Final Fantasy number 2 and
I was about
Link
to
the
say,
Past
I'm going to
number
be
1?
objective here and say Link to the Past. Yeah, should have been first.
Yeah. I might even...
Look, we both adore 6 to hell, but we know that can't be the number 1. It will drive Kaylan mad. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? We should have said that just to really piss him off.
I want to put all of them higher, but then I don't want them to hurt the other games that deserve to be up there. That's tough.
Like
This
at
is the
this
hardest
point,
list
I
I've ever made.
actually agree with everything except I would just flip Uncharted and Ocarina of Time. That's my only complaint.
I
see that.
would keep Link to the Past where it is. I think it is the better of the two, and I think it holds up better of the two.
Mhm.
I have nothing to say about Final Fantasy, so whatever.
Well,
but
here's
I would
what I'll
make
say to that just for your, like, this is legitimately the greatest JRPG ever made. There is not I can almost, like, as someone who's played, like, hundreds, there is almost nothing wrong with this game. This is, like, as perfect as it's ever going to get. Whereas, like, a GTA 3, while it's so influential, I think I can poke a million holes in this game now.
I will make the argument, like, I hear you, and I'm not disagreeing with you because I don't know any better, but Grand Theft Auto 3 really kind of, for a better way, almost like revitalized, or like it was pinnacle to like what it did to open world.
And that's kind of
adventure
where the
games.
balance is, right? Because, like, you can make the same argument for JRPGs back in the Super Nintendo days for Final Fantasy VI. Like, that really opened the door before 7 came in, and GT opened the door too. My only caveat is that, well, 6 is just an overall better made game by the end of it.
I will make my argument that I think GTA 3 needs to go for 2 to 3, but I haven't played Final Fantasy 6, so I'm going to rescind it, but I'm going to throw that argument out there and let you guys.
Yeah, no, I
'cause
don't
think you guys have
disagree
both
with that
played
argument too. that's just coming from, like, me and Chris can probably agree with this too. Coming from the experience of playing the game, I don't think we will ever play a JRPG that's as perfect as this one was.
No, they've tried. Oh, have they tried?
And like, it's actually hurting our feelings endlessly that it's not number one. But we know we can't do that for the sake of like keeping you from literally like teleporting into our rooms and choking us.
No. Once again, if you guys are both of this mind, like I've not played it, so I
no.
can't
I also
speak to
legitimately can in good grace to say that it's better than Link to the Past, because I think Link to the Past for like the vast majority of gamers would also choke me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I will die on the hill that Link to the Past needs to be number one.
It might be the greatest game
my
ever
thing of
made.
flipping Uncharted 2
I think it
and
is.
Zelda is, again, this is also coming from someone who doesn't like the original trilogy of Uncharted. But I do also think that Ocarina of Time, people really need to kind of mellow out on Ocarina of Time, because I think people remember it very fondly in the same way that they remember the original Final Fantasy VII, in that it's one of their first. Whereas I've gone back and played both. They are not as good as people remember them are compared to other games that have come before and after it.
Yeah, this is the thing. I agree. Legend of Zelda is basically just a 3D version of Link to the Past. And while it was amazing at the time and still impressive for what it accomplished, it doesn't hold up as well as Link to the Past. And I, like Chris said, I think Link to the Past is probably the greatest game of all time.
Keep in mind, we're not saying Ocarina is bad. We're just saying it's not the literal shining 11 out of 10 that so many people think it is. It's a solid 9.8. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have a disagreement with that otherwise?
No, I thought Red Dead would be higher, but I'm of the mind that Red Dead 2 is a overrated game. It's pretty and it's a great sim, but it's not a fun game. It sucks having to go and open every cabinet and reach for every single item. It's a bit of a pain in the ass at times, and it's drawn on really long. I was playing it, I remember doing that last part where you're like John Marston, and I'm just I didn't like it felt like it was drawn on.
I'll follow up because Kaylan, you were good with flipping 4 and 5.
Putting Uncharted above Link to the
because that was my only argument really.
Yeah,
I was actually just gonna bring that up because when I was looking at those two, I was like, all right, if I could go back and replay one of these right now, which one would I go back to and relive? And Uncharted 2 I would choose before I would choose Ocarina for sure. So I was even thinking that one. It felt weird putting it in number
Kaylan,
5.
do you want to do some math and get our scores tallied up?
Already done. And it's nice that we switched those up because we had 2 tiebreakers and that broke our tiebreakers.
I'm going to quickly just throw a couple of things out there for the ones that were, because I know some people are going to be like, well, why was this year missed? So let me just tell you some of the ones that we flipped out on. So 93 was pretty close. That had Link's Awakening, Doom, Mega Man X, Mortal Kombat 2, Secret of Mana. That was close. I was very close to that one. 95, Chris again. Sorry, Chrono Trigger wasn't going to make it. That would have been Trigger, Yoshi's Island, Donkey Kong 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Command and Conquer. 96 was also a pretty strong start with Mario 64, the original Resident Evil, Mario RPG, Tomb Raider, and Crash Bandicoot. And then we actually did have 2023 in there with Baldur's Gate, Tears of the Kingdom, Street Fighter 6, Hi-Fi Rush, and Starfield, but just couldn't make the cut. So that was just a couple of examples that we threw out there.
We also haven't played all the games as much for 2023, so that was why I wasn't on there.
But I thought about having it there just as one more category anyway, but after a while I'm like, no, we're already at 8. This is going to start getting excessive.
Yeah. All right.
Also, it's no fun if we just put in 2 years randomly to make it 10. Top 10, everybody does a top 10. What about a top 8?
Nobody does a top 8. We should trademark this.
I actually know someone who does top 8, so I can't actually say that.
No.
Is it us?
No, it's a wrestling channel that I actually watch a lot.
Okay.
Is it us?
Damn, I was gonna take a shot maybe. All right, so let's go through. I will start with the bottom. We'll go from the number 8 all the way to number 1. So number 8 is 1987 with a total of 39 points. Remember, we're doing golf rules. You want the lowest score. So 1987 is the lowest at 39 points. Second is 2018 with 27 points.
That's not surprising. Like 87's a really good year, but compared to so many others, there's just like it's nice to have a year that far back because it gives you like the beginnings. But yeah, it definitely had a lot of room to grow.
I'm just gonna mark these down. Number 6 was 2019 or 2009. 2009. It's number 6. Number 5, 2007.
So we know where our biases lie. That it's right back in our high school high school years. Got it.
Number 4 is 1998.
Okay, so that leaves us 91, 94, and 2001.
I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think? What do you think are the rankings?
Okay,
I think we had 94. That was one of them, right?
So the remaining ones,
2001.
Those are the remaining ones.
I think 94 is in first.
You think 91 is in first?
Oh no,
That's
no wait,
tough.
90. Wait, which ones are left? I think I just missed it.
91, 94, and 2001. I think it's
correct.
Probably 2001 in third, 91 second, 94 first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. So number 3 is 2001. And we'll do number 1. Number 1 was 1994.
Knew it.
Yep.
Donkey Kong Country.
Adam, can you bring up the list of 1994? What were the games that were in that one?
Okay, so 94. So from 5 up, so it was Earthbound, Sonic 3, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, and Final Fantasy 6.
Damn, that's
There you go.
Yeah, that's a stacked year if you owned a Super Nintendo console. For those 4 out of those 5 games are Super Nintendo gems, and you also have Sonic 3 for Genesis owners.
I still think Sonic should have been.
If you're a kid, that was your year. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Scientific proof of what is the greatest year of all time in gaming.
What else came out in 94? Let's see. Just to see what else could have made the cut. Doom 2 would have been in there. Ironically enough, because they came out the same year, Sonic and Knuckles technically was included. Earthworm Jim, Original System Shock, Tekken, Killer Instinct. Good lord, that's a lot of stuff. Mega Man X2. Yeah, that's a pretty good year. Oh, and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fighting game. Fuck yeah, that was a good hidden gem.
That was a good one. Oh, 94. Right. That was the year to be alive.
And also, everyone's favorite game that they only got past the first level of, The Lion King.
Oh, fuck that game.
Stupid drafts.
I thought you were about to say Echo the Dolphin. But that would have been earlier. No, fuck the Lion King game.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our list of all-time greatest years. We'll be taking no further questions on our list. Thank you so much.
It was scientifically done. You can't argue it.
Can't argue. That's science. You can't argue with science.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you off there. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like that and you want to hear more, we post episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you haven't seen it yet, we also do a side quest, little bonus video every Friday exclusively on our YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out there, check it out. Call it Side Quest. It's just where we come and talk about small little thing that doesn't quite make it to the show, worth checking out. And hey, if you want to check out more, we also have a bunch of socials through our link tree, linktr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, we have a Discord channel that is awesome. You should check it out with other listeners and us, and we talk about everything. This week, we were talking a lot about last week's episode with Jim Ryan being out and what we think Sony is up to. So if you want to be part of conversations like that, check us out there. And yeah, with that, I've been your host, Kaylan, aka Catastrophe, joined as always by my co-host Adam at CS Radical and Chris at Gin and Chris. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.